welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about mafia romances, which are honestly some of my favorite romances. Like honestly, I don't know, there's just something about them. It's like so easy to get through so many of them. Today we are revisiting our mafia queen, Cora Reilly. Yes, this is still inside of the Cora Reilly universe. So if you don't know, previously, like over a year ago now, I made a video talking about the first two series that kind of set up this world, the Kimura Chronicles and the Born in Blood Chronicles, or series. I don't know if that one's a Chronicles, but anyways, that talk about it's kind of like three different uh, mafias. We have the ones in Chicago, the Outfit, we have the Familia in New York, and then we have the Kimura in Las Vegas. So this series I'm going to be talking about today is the Sins of Our Fathers series, the Sins of the Fathers series. And it is about the children and like all of the offspring of the characters that we know and love from those first two. So I had to revisit it and like come back and read these. It was like honestly it felt so good, like a warm home, like welcome home hug. Like it was so nice. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so far there's four books in the series, but there's like a rumored fifth one already that's like it's already on like Goodreads, but like it's not out yet, but like fan art and stuff. And then so I think Cora is gonna continue in this universe of children because it's very rich with a bunch of stories. But the first two books are like a duology, whatever, by Sine Rise Part 1 and by Sine Rise Part 2, which this one follows the story of Maddox Mad Dog, which they like never call him that in the book, and I think that's like very cringy just off the back, but whatever. And Marcella Vitiello, who Marcella is the oldest child of Luca and Aria from the Familia in New York. And I'm sorry, this is probably going to get kind of confusing because I'm going to be throwing like a lot of names at you and stuff, but I'm just going to try to make it as succinct as possible so that you can understand while also trying to explain some of the background here because it's like a whole universe we've entered now. Also, warning too, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you've not read this series or you want to read this series and just haven't yet, don't watch this video. Do not. There will be spoilers. Okay, thank you. Okay, so as I said, Marcella is the oldest child of Luca and Aria, who is in the first series, the Born in Blood Chronicles. Cool, whatever. They're in New York. And then Maddox is in like a motorcycle club. So like another gang, but they're not in the mob, but they're like in the universe. I don't know if I'm missing something, but I can't find any Cora Reilly books with like the motorcycle clubs in them, like gangs. So I don't know if I just like missed that or if she just like decided to introduce Maddox and was like planning or is still planning on making like another series that's based off the like motorcycles, but it's like unlike her to just kind of throw in like a random character. I mean, I guess she's done it in the past, but like most of the time it kind of stays within the universe of the mob. So I'm a little bit confused, but we're gonna roll with it. So basically all you need to know is that the motorcycle club that he's a part of, I don't even remember the name. I think it's like Tartus. I don't know. The motorcycle gang he's a part of, Maddox, and the Familia, the like family and mob that Marcella is a part of, are opposing. They are enemies at this current moment in time. And basically a little backstory, like Luca, who is Marcella's dad, massacred like a whole, like everyone in this motorcycle club like 20 years ago or whatever when Maddox was like 5 and Maddox was actually like in the room. Luca didn't know this, but like he still went on this rampage and like killed all these people and like including Maddox's father in front of him. So it was like a super obviously traumatic experience for him. And he's always kind of held this like grudge against the Vitiellos since then. And um, honestly, it was kind of cool because like moments like this, like in the Born in Blood Chronicles, that happens. Like we hear about him doing like Luca doing that, and it doesn't really have much of effect in the moment. Like way back when in January 2021 or whatever that was when I read that, it was like, oh, okay. But now it's like coming full circle. So I was like, Cora, I see the puzzle pieces puzzling. I like it. That's fun. But anyway, so he like hates the Familia, basically. So the leader of the motorcycle gang, I want to say his name's Earl. I'm pretty sure it's Earl, decides to, if I don't care about a character, they just get a name that I think is their right name, and I don't really bother to look it up because I don't really care. Sorry. But anyways, Earl, like they all hate the Familia, so they're like, okay, let's come up with a plan to get Luca. And they're like, what does Luca love more than anything? He loves his wife and his two children. So they decide the best course of action is to kidnap Marcella and keep her hostage. And then eventually Luca will trade places with her, and then they'll get their revenge on Luca. So Marcella is kind of just known as this like bratty girl who's kind of like the queen or princess of New York. She just kind of is like stuck in this like gilded cage kind of because Luca is so worried about her and like Arya getting hurt and stuff, which I think is ironic because going back to the first series, Arya was like the first one that was like she was so stuck in a gilded cage. Like she's the first person in the series that we hear from in Born in Blood Chronicles, like her and Luca's story is the first story, and she's like stuck in a gilded cage and she hates it and she's so upset about it and like she wants to be free and she wants to have all these like different stuff and she hates like the mafia world. And I'm like, I just think that's kind of interesting that now Luca has kind of placed her in a similar situation, but she's more okay with it because it's out of protection, out of love, versus like I think before it was out of like controllingness. But I'm like, but where's that line? Because he's still controlling your life and saying what you can and can't do. But I know it's out of love, but like I don't know. I just thought it was like an interesting moment that I was like, they used that word, I'm pretty sure, for Marcel, that she was in a gilded cage. And I was like, I know they used that for Arya. So I just thought it was kind of interesting. And I think some other like important background knowledge to know is that like like this generation of like mob people, they're trying to be different and like at least seem like they're giving their children, especially their daughters, more freedom, especially in like marriage and things, because that's like a huge part of mafia romances is like the parents are usually really bad. They don't really care about their children. It's a lot of like trauma. It's a lot of like um, arranged marriages and like marriages to certified bonds and just like marriages of convenience and stuff like that. They kept saying it like how back in my day this would never happen and stuff. And I don't know. I guess I just thought, yeah, these women had a say, but not really. Like, I don't know, like all of the men in their lives didn't really like believe them or trust them a lot of the time. And like I get it, but I'm also like, guys, like if we're gonna pretend that we're in a world that's like supposed to be more like equality, like I don't know, it's kind of like, okay, but we're not. Like, I don't know, why are we pretending here? But anyways, okay, back to the story. So Marcel is giving like a lot more freedoms than Arya had growing up, whatever. And basically she gets kidnapped by the motorcycle gang, by Maddox in particular. He's actually the one that kidnaps her. And she gets taken to the motorcycle gang's like headquarters, whatever. And then there she's kept. And basically over the course of like her captivity, she starts to form a relationship with Maddox, not in the sense of like romance, but kind of just in the sense of like protection because Maddox is very against kidnapping Marcella from the beginning. He's like, why would we kidnap her? We have a problem with Luca, not Marcella. Like Marcella doesn't answer to her father's sins. Like that doesn't really make sense. But Earl, the leader, kind of just like overrules him and is like, be quiet. Bleh. Um, so Maddox is like really protective of her because he doesn't want anything like super duper bad to happen to her while she's like in their care. So he just like watches over her all the night and makes sure like none of his fellow motorcycle gang mates do anything to her, which is nice, obviously, but it's also like, yeah, but she's here because of you. Okay. But anyways, and then eventually it ends up like the best way to protect her is to like move her to his room so he can like lock her in there so no one can go in, like including other members, just him. So that's what they end up doing, and they form a like relationship, like a romantic connection through that time when they are in his room together. Um, and like yeah, I mean like definitely Stockholm Syndrome vibes, like definitely. Like I don't know, like a million percent. Million percent. And I've come on here and I've been brave and I've said that I kind of like some kidnapping stories. And I'll bring that with like you have to do it right. And there's two other kidnapping stories in the Cora universe. There's Growl and Kara's, and then there's Serafina and Remo's. And I hated Growl and Kara's, and I loved Serafina and Remo's. So I think it's just like can be either really good or really bad. And I feel like this one was really bad. It was just like, okay, whatever. And also the fact that it's two books, I'm just like, why? I hate when authors do that. I never understand it. I guess maybe it's because like someone doesn't want to pick up a mafia book that's supposed to be like a light read and then it be like 600 pages or something. But like for me personally, I don't care. I don't care. What she said in two books could have been said in one long book. And back home, basically, her family is all freaking out and trying to figure out what to do, and they're having a really hard time. And also, I don't think I mentioned this, but she has a younger brother named Amo who will come into play later. He's also one of the characters, which I also like how she does that. That's my favorite thing in like romance series when like you get to understand and know the other characters that are then going to have a romance in a later book because it's just like then you get to know them and then it feels more real that like I don't know that this story because you got to see them kind of in that before picture a little bit, just like a snippet, and like I don't know, it's so nice when you already know the character and like you look forward to ones and there's like more tension build up and yeah, I don't know, I really like it. So anyways, her family's freaking out and they don't know what to do and whatever. And basically Maddox has had to make this really difficult decision because it's either like they're gonna kill Marcella to teach Luca a lesson, or Maddox can step in and kind of help. So he's fallen in love with Marcella at this point, so he decides to step in and help. So he calls the Familia and tells them where they are and to come today and like whatever and save them. So this is betraying his motorcycle club, which is insane to me because he has been a part of this motorcycle club his entire life. He was born into it his entire life. His only living family's in it. He has a half brother who's in it, and then he also has his uncle who's the leader, and like he's known Marcella for less than a week, which I get it because it's such a insane situation and it's a book and all this stuff, but I'm just like to leave behind everything you've ever known, ever, and all the people you've ever known for someone you've known for a week is wild to me. But hey, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. I don't know their lives. So anyways, he decides to call, the family comes, and there's this like epic battle scene. It's like the end of book one. And basically like Maddox is helping the Familia. Everyone's like, you're a traitor. Yeah, cool, cool. Book two is like after that fight, and so Marcella's home now. She's a different person because obviously she's gone through like a super traumatic experience. So basically, the beginning of the story is like Maddox is trying to figure out like what he's gonna do, and because he's betrayed his only family and like only thing he's ever known. So he basically like goes and tries to kind of clean up his loose ends. Luca and his whole family is super hesitant of Maddox, obviously, because they've been enemies for the entire time. Also, like, Maddox wanted to kill Luca. He actually had an opportunity at the end of book one, and then he decided not to because he was like, this is for Marcella. And then, so it's kind of all complicated. And the entire time, Marcella is like, I want Maddox. I want to be with Maddox. Like, she kind of has this moment where she's like, maybe I need some time away just because, like, maybe it was Stockholm syndrome, but like maybe it's not. Like I don't know. Maybe I just need some time away and with my family and like figure it out. But then she's like, I want Maddox, and Maddox the whole time is like, yeah, I want Marcella. Like that's why I did all of this. So the entire time they're both very confident, and their connection are very much like, that's what I want to do. And they've even come up with this like plan that Marcella wants to be part of the business, and she wants to like basically head this group who's going to like hunt the rest of the people who like kidnapped her and like basically the rest of his old motorcycle gang. They're gonna like hunt them down and like together they're gonna do that because he has like the intel and stuff. And this is what I'm saying about like they don't actually respect or like think of their daughters as equal because Luca just doesn't listen to her. Like the entire book, he's just like, no, but Maddox is the enemy. And like same with Amo, he's like, no, Maddox is the enemy. And Marcella's like, yeah, okay, but look at all of these things he's done. He's left his entire family, everything he's ever behind. He literally killed his uncle for her. He did like all of these things. He like didn't enact his revenge that he's been waiting 20 years to do. Like all of these things. And they're still like, yeah, but he's the enemy. And it's like, I get it, and they want to keep them safe, but it's also like, bro, listen. Like he says all the stuff of how he wants them to have a love marriage and stuff because him and Arya were an arranged marriage that turned into a love marriage basically. But like, bro, if you're saying that, you have to like keep true to your word and like actually let them choose and like respect the choice they make. And even if it's a mistake, you have to respect their mistakes and let them live and learn from those because it's the only way they're going to know how to make decisions. So it's like maddening when like the whole time, basically the only conflict of book two is that the men in her life like don't trust her opinion and are like, we don't think he's okay. It's so frustrating. The rest of book two is just them like Maddox proving it to them through like little things and like eventually at the end of the book we see an epilogue where he swears himself into the Familia, which he said he would never do, but whatever. And then Marcella is pregnant with a boy. And so they're like, yay, happy times. So that's basically all of the first two books in the series. Um, my thoughts are that it was boring. That was my main thing. It gave me very much the vibe of Dante and Val and Val. Is that her name? Something like that. Val, um, who are in the Born in Blood series. They are like the head people of the outfit, which we will talk about in a moment. But it's so boring. It's like their book. Like when I was reading it, I was just like, give me anything. I was like multiple points. I was like, I feel like there's stuff we could do here. It could be fun. It could be like whatever. No, literally so boring. I was honestly like trying so hard to get through these because the next book sounded super interesting to me and I just wanted to get to it. The next book is By Virtue I Fall. And this book I had been looking forward to for so long because she hinted at this book like way before. Because she once made a list on her website of like all of the stories, like all of the characters' stories that we've interacted with that she was going to make a book for. I think it's since been deleted, but like I remember talking about it in my first Mafia like series video that I made. But like she talks about multiple different characters, and one of the couples I was so excited about because she talks about them, and I believe it's Fragile Longing, which is like one of the standalones. It's not part of like either of the ones, but it's part of like the universe. They talk about uh, is it Anna? Yeah, I was going to say Ava, Anna and Santino. This one was from The Outfit, which is the Chicago one, which by far is the boringest in the series, in the first series. By far the boringest. Like all of their books, so bland, so dry. I think I just don't like Dante. He's so boring. He's so dry. It's like, give me anything. I'm begging you. But this one, I'm going to say, was the best in the series so far. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm changing the tune about the outfit. Maybe second generation outfit will be it for me. I don't really know. But basically, the story follows Anna, who is the daughter of the capo, Dante, of the outfit, the mob in Chicago, and Santino, who is also part of the outfit. He has been assigned to be her bodyguard since she was like 12 or something like that. I don't know. I think like 12. Which I don't love that because if we're going to do an age gap, first off, I'm going to ignore it. Most of the time, I'm just going to pretend they're the same age because why? But then if you're going to do an age gap, do not have them know each other when she is a minor or whoever is a minor. I think that's a pretty good and easy rule because it's weird and it makes things muddy and it makes the power dynamic weird. So I just kind of ignored that in this book and I just pretend they're the same age at like every moment because why not? But anyways, Anna or Santino has been Anna's bodyguard for forever. He doesn't want the job. Basically, it's kind of like a bad job. I mean, like he just like babysits her basically. Um, which would be annoying. Like he was like a top enforcer and now he has to like do this. But it's also like a compliment because it's like the capo thinks he's worth trusting that much. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of complicated. It's like, wow, I guess it's good. So basically his dad convinces Santino to do it, and he's done it for forever because the story is like we see snippets of like when they were younger and stuff, but most of it is like when she is, I think it's like 21, I think so when the story takes place. The tension, I will say, between them is lovely, palpable, amazing. It's kind of enemies to lovers in the way of like he's just so annoyed by her and he like does not like her at all. Like she's really spoiled. Like if Marcella's spoiled, Anna's like even more spoiled. And I think it's funny, like Santino just like puts her in her place all the time. And then basically like Anna just has this like schoolgirl crush on Santino like her entire life. It's kind of like a weird dynamic. But again, like the story starts when she's 21 because she's engaged to this like politician's son because they're trying to have this like agreement with the politicians of Chicago to, I don't know. Don't ask. It's so boring and stupid, honestly. But anyways, they like promised her like when she was 13, so she's known she's gonna marry this dude for forever. Then she decides she somehow convinces her parents she wants to be a fashion designer, so she somehow convinces her parents that she got into this school in Paris for fashion design, and she's like, I have to go. You have to let me go. So they do. They make her bring Santino, and then basically no one trusts Anna again. Common theme amongst these books, they don't trust the women. So basically, everyone asks Anna if she has a thing for Santino, and she lies and says no. But, like, no one trusts her anyway. And they all think she has something for Santino, and, like, that something might be happening now that she's older. And basically, everyone and their mother, including her mother, threaten Santino and is like, and are like, don't do that. If we find out you did that, that'd be a huge invasion of our trust and stuff. So basically, that's a huge no-no, sir. Like, you better not be thinking about that. So Santino's like, this is going to be the absolute worst. So they go to Paris, and in Paris, basically right away, they just start a relationship and start hooking up, basically. And yeah, and I don't know. It's fun and it's like cool because they're like in another world. They're not in another world. They're in another place. So like they can kind of, but they're not in the mafia world, so they don't have to like I don't know, like be as worried about it and stuff. But then basically every time they're back in Chicago, they have to pretend that they're just bodyguard and person who has a bodyguard. I don't know, client. I don't know what's called that. And she's still engaged. She's gonna get married after all of this. This is very much like part of the plan. That has not changed at all. So it kind of, I was kind of confused, but I guess this happens for 3 years. They have this like Paris relationship, and they're both in love. They're both madly in love with each other, and they want to be together. And Santino's ready to like drop everything to be with her. He's like, I will tell your father, I will do anything to be with you. Like, you are going to be mine. Like, I want to marry you. Let's do it. And Anna's like, oh, haha. Oh, oops. Did you think that I wanted to be with you? Like, no, this was the plan the entire time. And she's kind of mean about it. And then she's like, no, I'm going to be with, I don't even remember his name, the other dude. So Santino's like obviously crushed. And when they get back to Chicago, it's like T minus 2 or 3 months until she's going to get married. And he's just like devastated. And it's really sad. He's just like, he's already told her how he felt and how he wants to be with her. And she keeps being like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, basically she's still just like, no, I'm not going to do anything. And then like a week or two before her wedding, someone attacks her and her fiance, and Santino takes like 3 bullets for her or whatever. So he's in like critical condition. This man is like dying. And Anna is super distraught and doesn't want to leave him and all this stuff, but like her wedding is fastly approaching, and she's kind of realizing like, oh my gosh, I want to be with Santino, but she doesn't really know what to do about it because again, she's like a week from her wedding, and this would completely sever their ties with the political family, and like she's supposed to like do her duty basically. At her wedding, her and her mom say no, like say they're not going to marry him, which is weird. Dante freaks out, everyone freaks out, this like allegiance has been broken and there's like a whole thing and it's all upsetting and it's blah 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 and she's like I need to find Santino and of course at the same time Santino's been in a coma and he wakes up at this like right after when her wedding was supposed to be and it's like oh my god she's married like I'm too late like I woke up too late like I couldn't fight for her one last time and it's really sad and then basically she shows up at the hospital and they have this cute little reunion and then she's like I picked you and then everyone's like still mad at her rightfully so but eventually they get to be together and they are all happy but to smooth over the political alliance that they like were no longer honoring her younger brother now is engaged to uh oh sorry moved yeah is engaged to someone like the political party's like daughter. Like, I don't even freaking know. So I guess that's probably going to be a different book. Thoughts on this book? I like a bodyguard, um, protectee romance. There's one other one in the Cora Reilly universe of Lillian Romero, and theirs kind of was good, but like it wasn't the best. And I feel like the same about this one as even though I said it's the best of the four books right now, and I stand by that, I still none of these books had the like oomph that I love. This book overall was just, it was good. It wasn't great. I wanted a bit more. And I think the Paris section was kind of boring to me because it's like, why are we having a mafia book, but then they're like not in the mafia for like 3 years? Like, I don't know. Like, if I'm in a mafia book, I just want it to be in the mafia world. You know what I mean? I had really high hopes for this next book too, and it was still good, but it's still, I feel like it could have been better, which is how I feel sometimes about Cora Reilly books. But some of them are just so amazing. But this one is, I forgot the title, By Fate I Conquer. And this one's fun because it's two families' kids that we already know. So it's Amo, who I talked about, who is Marcella's younger brother. So he is part of the Familia. He is the son of Luca and Aria. So he lives in New York. And he's going to be the capo, basically, like take over the Familia. And then we have Greta Falcone, who if you watched our other video, you know I love the Falcones. The Falcones are the Camorra, which is in Las Vegas, and the Camorra Chronicles are like way better than the Blood and or Born in Blood series to me. Um, like especially Nevio and Remo's books. Oh my goodness. And I just love it. And Greta is Serafina and Remo's daughter, which I love Serafina and Remo, so I was so excited. They're my favorite couple in this whole series. Basically, the book is that the Familia and the Camorra are on like very small bits of peace still. Like they're on the edge of like they've been in peace for like 20 years or whatever as part of the original series. Um, but like barely. Like they kind of just put up with each other. They don't like each other by any means, but they just kind of deal with it. So Amo comes with his dad to Las Vegas to kind of start like doing business stuff and like I don't know, he just like comes with his dad. And Nevio and Amo hate each other. So reminder, Nevio is Greta's twin brother, and they're like super duper close. And yeah, they hate each other, and basically they get in a fight during this meeting, and then they're like, Amo go away. So then Amo just like starts wandering the house and he sees Greta dancing ballet and he like is like, oh my god, wow, she's so good. And then she sees him and then she starts running and then he like runs after her because he's like, no, don't be scared of me. Which I was like, oh my god, if I was running from someone and then their instinct was to like run after me to tell me not to be scared of me, like bro, I'm scared of you. Why are you chasing after? You're chasing her at that point to tell her you're not scary. That's scary. Like, what? But anyways, they end up locked in this like panic room basically together. And they have this like whole like bonding moment of like talking and like whatever and it's fun. I liked it. It was kind of cute. They're basically both just like obsessed with each other and want to see each other all the time. Um which again, like peace is happening right now, but like barely. And also Amo is promised to another girl. So they just like really connect and they like start texting and they start like, I don't know, they just keep like connecting to each other, but like secretly because no one wants them to be together. And then to the point before he's supposed to get married, he's like, he confesses to his dad and he's like, I want to be with Greta. I love Greta and I want to be with her. And he actually, without his dad's permission, goes to Las Vegas and it talks to Greta and is like, I want to be with you. I'm gonna like abandon everything because literally also Luca was like, if you do that, you can't be Capo anymore. Like you have to give that up. Um, and he basically does. He's like, that's why he goes to Las Vegas. He's like, I'll give up everything. I want to be with Greta. Like, whatever. And Greta denies him because she basically is like, she's like socially awkward and she's super shy and she doesn't want to leave her family. And if she married him, she would become the capo's wife and it would be expected of her to move to New York and stay in New York and any of her kids or anything would have to be in New York, which understandably would be super hard because her whole life and her whole family and everyone she loves ever in the world are in Las Vegas, which is far. So it's like, yeah, I understand where she's coming from and like she can't leave Nevio alone and like I don't know, it, like makes sense, but then literally it also doesn't make sense because Amo's like, yeah, but I'm gonna leave all of that behind. I'll stay in Las Vegas for you and like we can live here and like I won't be Capo. And then she's like, no, you need to be Capo. So she turns him down and is like, no, I'm not gonna marry you. During this interaction, he's going to like kiss her to say goodbye to her or whatever. Nevio sees this and then stabs him and then he stabs Nevio. So they're both in the hospital like critically and then this becomes like a huge point because it basically starts the war between the Chimera and the Familia because like he attacked the Familia because he stabbed Amo. So now war's broken out and it's all bad and whatever. And then Amo gets married and he's really upset about it. And she comes to the wedding, which I'm like, oh, that's weird, but whatever. Gotta come to the wedding. And the night of the wedding, there's like all this turmoil and there's like an attack and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I don't care. And then it's like a year later. They don't talk for a year. And they're both like, we'll just get over it. Both of them after a year, like, I'm not over it. I still think about them all the time. So then on her birthday, he like calls her and is like, I want to say happy birthday. Hee 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 hee. Do you remember me? And then she's like, oh my God. And then basically she's like, I want to see you. So they start this relationship. So then Amo decides he's going to divorce his wife. So he tells his wife this. His wife does not take it well because she never loved him. She just wanted to be the capo's wife because that's like the greatest honor you can get in like the mob world basically as a woman. And not long after that, Greta is attacked and stabbed and her knees shattered. She's like she loves ballet, so like they shattered her knees so she can't dance. And then they ended up like hurting her uterus and her womb so she could never have kids, which is crazy and insane. But anyways, that's what happened. She's like, I want to be with Amo. I've decided I want to be with Amo. Like I thought about him all the time. He's like the person I want to be with, like all this stuff. And the wife of or ex-wife, I don't know. They never got divorced, I don't think officially, but Amo's ex-wife was actually the one who like planned the attack on her. So she gets um end of this book, the solution of Greta's issue of leaving Las Vegas and leaving everyone she's ever loved and leaving Nevio especially behind is that she just does that. She just does that and she moves to New York, marries him, becomes the capo's wife, which she never wanted, and leaves everyone she's ever loved. So I had some problems with that. It's like he was fine with sacrificing being the capo for her, and then they were like, no, 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 no. You shouldn't have to sacrifice. Greta will sacrifice. I don't know what I wanted the resolution to be. I guess I was picturing that they would stay in Las Vegas and that he would give up his capo-ness and that would be that. But he doesn't, and that doesn't happen, and I don't know why. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that definitely brought it down a few pegs. And then also another problem I had, as I was talking about, I love Serafina and Remo. They're like my favorite couple of the entire series. They were not good in this book. They were not. Literally, like, they did not have any cute moments. All the moments were like Remo lying to Serafina because he was like, I don't want to worry her. And I was like, doesn't she deserve to know? things. Like what? Like what are you even saying? Like he doesn't respect her. So that wasn't fun. I didn't like that. I'm gonna pretend that never happened in this universe and that Serafina and Remo are like the perfect Serafina and Remo I remember and in my head. So that was disappointing to me for sure. As I talked about, the fifth book that is like, I don't know if she's announced that it's actually the fifth book or if it's just rumored or whatever, but it's Nevio's book with Aurora, which I think it's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be a good one. I feel good about this one. I've said that for the last two, but like this one sounds fun to me. Like Nevio is basically like, I don't think I can ever love someone romantically at all. And basically Aurora's had a crush on him since they were like children. Like she loves this man. That's the fifth book. But yeah, that is the by what's it? My Father's Sins. Something like that. Um, The Sins of the Fathers, I think is what it's called. That's the series so far. I will definitely do another video once like more of these books come out. I love reading Cora Reilly and I love these books and like it's really special to me that she's doing these like children's books. They're not children's books. These books about the next generation, I should say. Um, so yeah, I love this series and I hope you guys love hearing me talk about the series and you should go read it yourself if you have not yet. And yeah, please go watch my other video talking about the Mafia, Kimura Chronicles, and Born in Blood series. And look for more Mafia books series coming up, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, but thank you for watching, you beautiful, amazing, wonderful, sweet, fantastic, amazing, beautiful, funny, empathetic person. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.